Well, today is March 1st. She also was our first speaker in January. The first Monday we had in January, she was our speaker, and first here in March the 1st, our speaker, and sets the tone for the month. Without further ado, she hails from the Fresno area. She has 2 beautiful furball babies. Her and her husband, as you know, flip gas stations and also not only liquor stores, but really beautiful couple. And I tell you what, I look forward to spending time with them when I come to Fresno, hanging out with them, and we have session after session. Without further ado, soon to be a regional vice president. I know it's coming this year because I'm expecting some great things out of all of you, not just her. Without further ado, the one, the only, and the comparable, have graduated from the university with 2 degrees. Without further ado, the great Miss Natasha 3.0 Ismail.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. I like your shirt at the top.
Miss Caroline Baker has pom-poms. I just need to acknowledge that for a second. What happened, Mr. Thomas? What'd you say? My shirt?
I love your top.
Thank you. So it's a ACN top. So talk about that too. But thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for giving me the honor and privilege of starting off March Madness. I don't know who else is excited. Miss Sharian's excited. I see Miss Belinda Batiste, Miss Kenny. Okay, Mr. Dave Culver. All right. We got excited people on here. Okay, so it's March. It is March 2021. So let me tell you my favorite memory of last March before we get started. I'm going somewhere with this. Last March is when we hit regional director because we made a decision in December. We drove all the way to Los Angeles. Okay, so that's a far ways from here, from Fresno, for those of you that don't know. And I was waiting to get promoted and I had no clue how it was gonna go, what I was gonna say. My husband couldn't be there because he was working at our traditional businesses, and it felt kind of incomplete. Because I didn't have everybody there with me. And I'm sitting there and I had this feeling to just turn around and look. Just turn around and look. And I see the door open for my peripheral vision. I see the door open and I see somebody walk in and I look back and I see Mr. Al Thomas in Los Angeles at the regional where I was getting promoted to regional director. And I immediately started crying. Immediately. My makeup that took me like an hour was so messed up by the time I went up there. But I immediately started crying. And the reason for that is because through this business, I was able to meet somebody like Mr. Al Thomas. Now, a lot of people see what they see just on the calls. A lot of people haven't gotten to actually spend time with him. A lot of people don't know how he really is, who he really is, even though he's so transparent here. But his heart, nobody has a clue unless you have experienced something with Mr. Al Thomas. So that memory for me last March, I mean, and it was the last day things were open too. So I guess we stopped the world with that one, Mr. Thomas. So we'll, but just seeing him there, he flew all the way from Las Vegas to support us getting promoted. Who does that? Who does that? I don't know another SVP that would do that. So Mr. Thomas, we love you so much. And he's like the father that, we never had. And I just can't thank him enough for the person that he is. So I'm excited, everyone. I'm excited. I don't know who else is excited, but it's March Madness. So I was looking through old Success from Home magazines and I saw Go Mad. And I said, what's Go Mad? And this is from like a few years ago. I was flipping through some magazines that Mr. Thomas gave me and it said Go Mad. And it said, make a difference. Go mad, make a difference. So if we're saying this is March Madness, we're gonna go mad and we're gonna make a difference. So I wanna talk to everyone today about greatness. The reason why I told that story about Mr. Thomas is because to me, he embodies greatness. If you think of greatness, one of the first people's names that I will give you is Al Thomas. And you all can see why. When you think of basketball, you think of a handful of people. You think of Michael Jordan, you think of Kobe Bryant, you might think of LeBron, right? When you think of football, who do you think of? When you think of baseball, who do you think of? When you think about business, who do you think of? People might say Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, people like that, right? Now, Mr. Nelson, what he said on Friday, and I don't know why I'm going here, but there's a reason he's taking me here, okay? But he said on Friday, the way that you talk about other people in the world that are successful, he challenged everyone to find someone in the company, to find leaders in the company and talk about them how we talk about a Grant Cardone, how we talk about a Mark Cuban. That's my goal this month. When he said that, I don't know what I felt inside, but I stopped for a second and I said, oh my God, he's right. Think about how people talk about Grant Cardone and how they edify him. What if all of us edified people like Al Thomas, people like Byron Nelson, people like James Adlam, people like Aaron Burr? What if we edified them how we edify those people? Then it doesn't matter what industry they're in because our leaders are proven in multiple industries. Just looking at Mr. Thomas's track record, like nobody should even have a question. Okay, just show them pictures of magazines or whatever. But anyway, so we're going to talk about what it takes to be great. Greatness has a cost. Mr. Thomas said last week, he made the most craziest announcement. Greg Provenzano says, what are you willing to give up to go up? We all saw what he is willing to give up to go up. He moved. I have been to his house. I don't know how many people have that privilege, but I have been to his house. I know how beautiful it was. As soon as you walked through the door, there was a freaking water fountain in the house, okay? It was gorgeous, and he got uncomfortable and he moved. He gave that up to go up because think about a hot air balloon. You can't go up until you let the sandbags off. What sandbags are you holding on to that are keeping you from getting to your greatness? Your hot air balloon is stuck on the floor right now. Some of you might have taken off, but guess what? There's still sandbags on there that you can let go of so you can go higher than you've ever gone before. But until we don't let go of those sandbags, we can't get there. So I'm going to play a short clip. Mr. Bree Clemens is going to roll a short clip for me. And right after that, we're going to go through what greatness costs.
You asked for my hustle, I gave you my heart, because it came with so much more. It's the ultimate sacrifice. Greatness has a cost. It reschedules your plans for you. It puts your family and friends on hold. It makes you feel misunderstood. And it will put you in some deep, dark holes. Greatness demands everything from you. Your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul. So what do when you shoot 4 air balls in a playoff game? What do? Do you sulk? Do you weep? When you disappointed all of your teammates, when you let down all of the fans, do you ask for sympathy? Do you ask why me? When they blast the coach for keeping you in the game, do you blame yourself? When they've drawn up their own conclusions about how your career is going to end, do you wish you could go back in time and make a different decision? Or do you get off of the plane and go straight to Palisades High and get the janitor to open up the gym and lock yourself in there until the sun comes up. And you go shoot, and you drill, and you relive that moment and change the outcome over and over again. Decisions shape our destiny, and obsession can be beautiful. What separated me is not a gift. It was a hunger to hunt when others would eat, a hunger to hone in when others thought they perfected. They had a crossover. They had a fadeaway. They all wanted rings, but they also had obligations. They weren't willing to cut it all off. See, it's not just about going to the court, shooting, dribbling, practicing the same move again and again. No. Lack of skill is from a lack of mind on and off the court. From a little boy sitting on the ball in the park to a grizzled veteran on his last legs, it's been a mission from day one to impart what I know so you can better understand yourself. I'm here because the game needed me as much as I needed it. The game was my comfort, a platform to grow and teach others the same. It was where I learned about the terrors and joys of life, of ice baths and buzzer beaters, of struggle and of gold, and everything in between. It was where I transformed the darkness to come closer to the light. And it always brought a new challenge, a flaw that needed to be healed. And the game would send the medicine directly my way. And you will have to make that choice for yourself, whether that treatment would be worth it or not for you. But greatness cannot come without that cost. How do you press enough without pressing too hard? How do you go far enough if you don't go too far? How do you get 11 others to begin their relentless pursuit? To duplicate yourself, not in terms of skill, but in terms of competitive spirit. To instill the intensity, to impart that DNA so that you can be champions on the court and men off of it. How do you prove to the world who you really are? To honestly express yourself. The media will paint a story. The fans and critics will create their own. But no one's expectation, no one's, could live up to my own.
I am that killer snake. You know, and I'm stone cold, man.
My love to become more and to give more. I did everything for you because that's what you do when someone makes you feel as alive as you've made me feel.
Greatness demands everything that you have. But if you never try, how are you going to know what you have inside of you? And understand that when I'm on these calls, it's really funny what God does to me is he gives me what I need to hear, but I'm saying it out to everyone else. So when I'm talking to everybody, it's like I'm talking to myself because it's exactly what I need to hear too. I don't know who else needs to hear it. I don't know who this is going to impact, but this is going to impact someone. Someone is going to go mad in March. Someone is going to completely shift their life. All it takes is a few small adjustments. Greatness demands everything. You're going to be misunderstood. In entrepreneurship, people are misunderstood. You're told that you can't do it. You're told that you're not going to get to the top. You're told that you don't have what it takes. But who is somebody else to determine your ending of your story? He said critics are going to come up with the way that your career will end before you do. But guess who controls it? You control it. Nobody else controls it. I don't care what my neighbors say. I don't care what my family says. I don't care what my uncle's brother's cousin's sister twice removed from my mom's side says. I don't care. I'm here and I'm doing this. They're either going to come with me or they're going to watch me. And then after I'm done, they're going to come back and say, how'd you do it? What person are you going to be? Are you willing to pay the cost of greatness? Do you think Mr. Thomas paid the cost of greatness? I know that's even a dumb question to ask. He is still, guess what? Success is rented and rent is due every single day. You have to be willing to do something every single day. Greatness is the ultimate sacrifice. It reschedules your plans for you. It moves around your priorities for you. It puts you in deep, dark places, he said. But what do you do in those deep, dark places? Especially over the last year, we've gone through challenges. People have been in dark places, but do you use that dark place to transform? Or do you use it to get lost? Do you get lost in the darkness, or are you using it to transform? Mrs. Driscoll talks about butterflies transforming. They have to be closed up into a cocoon in the darkness to transform. And they come out looking like one of the most beautiful creatures on the planet. But it had to be closed up for a while in the darkness. It had to go through uncomfortable situations. It had to go through the whole process to transform. Are you willing to do what it takes? We're in the last minutes of the last end of the first quarter of this year. Once March is over, first quarter is done. And you cannot go back. We can't change back the hands of time and say, hold on, let me go back, let me redo February real quick. It doesn't work that way. You can't move back the hands of time. I want everybody for a second to think about the person that you love the most. I know there's more than one, but the person that you love the most on this planet right now, stop everything and think about that person. Imagine that person smiling, and imagine that person saying, you did it. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Now open your eyes. Let me ask you a question. That person that you just imagined, if they are still here, are they still going to be here? And are you going to hear those words from them? Or is it going to be too late one day and you're going to have that regret forever? I had a conversation with my husband yesterday, and I'm not going to take it there, but we literally, we had to count how many people did we lose just in January and February alone from our families. We had somebody go to the hospital last night, but where am I? I'm right here. I'm doing what it takes because that's the cost of greatness. Are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to sleep later, wake up earlier? Mr. Thomas showed us how to get an extra month out of the year just by waking up earlier. How much are you willing to sacrifice? Kobe Bryant said, when he was younger, over the summer, he shot one basket over the whole summer. Now I want you to imagine this, okay? Kobe Bryant, and he's younger, one basket over the whole summer. So that's like us doing a bunch of presentations and only getting one person that says, yeah, I'm going to do this with you. Do you think he gave up after that? Or do you think he practiced more and more and more to get better and better and better? It's not, what we do isn't hard. We don't have to wake up super early to go to the gym to go physically train. We don't have to go lifting heavy things. We don't have to do any of that. All we do is master a few skills. We master the art of communication. We master how to talk to people. We've heard Mr. Thomas talk to people, like that's it. It is a mental game. 80 to 90 to 99% of this game is mental. This is a game. You got to learn how to play the game. Kobe mastered basketball, mastered it. Michael Jordan mastered basketball, mastered it. They all want rings. Everybody wants rings, but is everybody going to get a ring? No. Mr. Thomas has a ring. How many other people on this call have a ring? Mr. Thomas. But he did what it took to get that ring. He practiced and practiced and practiced over and over and over again. Mrs. Driscoll talked about being hungry the other week. You have to be so hungry. He said you got to be hungry and you got to be hunting when everyone else is eating. Think about that for a second. You got to be hunting when everyone else is eating. You're gonna miss birthdays, or you used to miss birthdays. Now everything's virtual. I was on a virtual wedding 2 days ago. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. But you're gonna miss events. I can't tell you how many birthday parties and how many parties and events and how many things we missed in the beginning when we were building this business. And I can guarantee you that Mr. Thomas and the other leaders on this call are gonna say the same thing. It's gonna happen sometimes, but that's the cost of greatness. Are you hunting when everyone else is eating? During the holidays, Mr. Thomas, during the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, he's still working. He still works. Even last year, working. What are you doing today, Mr. Thomas? Working. A lack of skill, he said, comes from the lack of mind. You have to strengthen your mind. Are you doing the things that it takes to strengthen your mind? Are you working on it every single day? Doing personal development every single day? Are we doing that? Are we working on our skills every single day? Are we becoming a sponge? Will you live up to your own expectations? Nobody else's. What are your expectations for yourself? Do we even know what our own expectations are of ourselves? Because I know that in the beginning, if I close my eyes and I close everything else, and I think I know exactly what my parents expected of me. I knew exactly what everybody expected of me, but when it came down to knowing what I expected from myself, it was one of the hardest things to do. What's your own expectation for yourself? You have to be willing to be yourself, your own potential, he said. Your own potential. A lot of the people don't even use their full potential before they leave. Are you going to use your full potential? And then guess what? Beat your full potential. Beat it. Go further than you think you can ever go. This is your year. Every single person on this call, this is your year. I don't care what anybody says. You're going to move further this year than you have in all the other years that you've been in ACN if you try to beat your own potential. You got to give it 100%. Because I know I have not been giving it 100%. I've been letting life get in the way and getting distracted too. And it happens. What did Dean Chirali say? Reset. Reset. It's the end of the first quarter. This part of the game matters. This part of the game, this month of March, can set you up for the rest of the year and for years to come. One of the SVPs said, if you work right now, listen to this. If you work right now, work harder than you ever have right now, imagine being set up for the next 5 to 10 years. Just by giving a few months of an all-out effort. You're playing the game, or are you? Are you even playing the game? Think about it to yourself. Are you playing the game? Are you in the game? Will you win the game? Because a lot of people try out for basketball, a lot of people try out for football, a lot of people join network marketing, a lot of people join direct sales. But how many people actually finish it? How many people finish the game? How many people even actually play the game? How many people practice the game? How many people practice the skills that it takes? How many people master what it takes to be successful in this business? Now, at the end, you guys saw that he said Mamba, okay? Mamba mentality. For those of you that don't know what that means for Kobe Bryant, Mamba mentality means to go all out, means to leave it all out on the court, means that's his place that he goes to when he gets savage, okay? Like Julian Lewis talked about, savage. That's what he says. He says, I'm that snake. I'm that snake. Mamba, one of the most dangerous ones out there. And he says, I'm that one. So I'm going to give everybody an acronym. This is the last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to give everybody an acronym for Mamba. So on your paper, I want you to put M, look at me real quick, M-A-M-B-A, straight down. So if you have a line paper, go straight down. We're going to spell out what it means to have a Mamba mentality. Because if you're going to play the game, we got to have the skills to play the game, or else there's no point in playing the game if we're not trying to master the skills. Okay. So the M stands for mastery. What are you going to master? In order to play this game to win, we just have to master a few skills. Just have to master a few skills. And how do we master something? Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's it. So here are the skills that we need to master in order to win this game. Number one, we have to master peaking. We have to master how to pique somebody's interest. That can be in person, that can be online. People always say, well, how do I not make it weird? Don't make it weird. Like, just don't think about it being weird. It only becomes weird if you think it's going to be weird. If you go in with the Mamba mentality, you know exactly why you're doing something. You know that, let me ask you something. I heard something on a training the other day, and it was an Australian training. Check this out. If you had a plank of wood, and on the other side of that plank of wood, it was just on the ground, plank of wood, okay? I asked you, hey, can you cross this plank of wood? You're going to look at me and ask me why. I say, I got $100. I'll give you this $100 if you cross the plank. Would you cross the plank? Duh, right? You cross the plank. Miss Belinda Batista's like, why? $100, Miss Batista, $100, okay? I give you $100 to cross the plank, okay? Now, if I put that same plank up in between two buildings and it was in the air, and then I said, I'll still give you $100 to cross that plank, would you cross it? Miss Batista's like, nope. Okay, you wouldn't, right? Because what's on the other side isn't great enough for you yet, correct? Okay. Same plank of wood in the air between two buildings. If I told you your family is on the other side of that plank and only you can go across to save them, if you don't go across to save them, they're not going to make it. You are risking your life by walking on the plank. You're putting yourself in danger in order to go get them. Would you cross the plank? That's a Mamba mentality. You'd cross the plank no matter what. You know that you're putting your life in danger, but you're willing to cross it anyway to go to the other side because you know what's on the other side is greater than what can happen on the way. Mr. Nelson said, if you already know, which family member, if you already know where you're going, Mr. Bree, you messed me up. Stop. If you already know where you're going, does everything else in the middle matter? It doesn't. He said, if you already know you're going to be RVP or SVP, you know that you have to deal with everything else that's going to come in between. That's walking the plank. Now, thankfully, we don't have to walk a plank, but we do have to pick up the phone and make a phone call. We do have to text that person that we don't know, or that person that we met at the supermarket, or that person that we met on Facebook. We do have to message them, but oh my God, they might judge us. They might tell us stuff. They might say this is this or this is that. Are you willing to make the call or the text to cross the plank to get to the other side. We're not doing anything life-threatening, guys. This is a mental game, I'm telling you. And for the month of March, I'm challenging everyone to go mad. Go mad and go make a difference. Look, whatever you want is on the other side of that fear. What's the worst thing that can happen with a prospect? They say no. They say, oh, it's one of those things. Okay, bye. Let me look for the next person. There's 8 billion people with a B, billion people on the planet. And we're worried about one person's opinion that we don't even know. No. The second skill is the invite. We have to be able to invite somebody. So number 1, peak. Number 2, invite. Invite to see the business or to a presentation. Okay, invite. How hard is it? Hey, I'm doing something. I want your opinion on it. Done. Done. No plank walking, no alligators down there, no fire, no nothing. Okay, done. That's it. Number 3, presenting. Presenting. Do you know how to present or do you know how to send a video? That's it. We complicate this business so much. We complicate it. If we have these skills down, it's not that difficult, okay? Now, after that, after presenting is closing. That's it. The close. Do we know how to close someone? Hey, are you ready to get started? Yeah, okay, cool, let's go. No alligators, no fire, no nothing. No broken bones, nothing. That's it. Once we're confident, and the confidence comes from practice. The more you do something, the more we do something, you will become more and more confident in it. Do you think when Kobe Bryant was throwing all those air balls or when he was throwing all those shots and didn't make them, he stopped? Or did he get better and better and better and he just kept going? Each person we talk to is a shot that we're taking. But guess what? We might have been off in the way that we flicked our wrist on that one. We might have been off in our foot placement on the second one. We might have been off in the way that we, thought about our perception of how far it is or not. We might have been off on that one. Might have been off. But guess what? Are you going to let it stop you? No. You're going to keep going to the next one because you're going to master all these skills. Once you master this, nobody can take this from you. You can build a company within a company. That's my vision, is to build a company within a company. Why not? The co-founders say your business can be as big as the whole company is today. Think about it. Just think about that. Your business with you can be as big as the whole company is today. That messes you up mentally. All right. Now, the A, ambition. Do you have the ambition? Do you have the hunger? Do you have the drive to go do something? We're here. You can't get out of life alive. We're here. Might as well do something great. Might as well do something to leave a mark on this world. When Kobe passed, the whole world was quiet. What are you going to do for people to remember you? What are you going to do? What's your legacy going to be? Like Sam Foster, he's like, I want to be the grandpa that I didn't even know he was a grandpa, first of all, okay? He's like, I want to be the grandpa in the fireplace. That's a legacy. That's a legacy. What legacy are you leaving behind? Why are we so, we're so casual with life? Mr. Nelson said one time, and I'll never forget it, if you are casual about life, you'll end up a casualty. If you are casual about life, you'll end up a casualty. We need to stop acting like we have forever. Like somebody else is going to come talk to these people for us. Like somebody else is going to come pick up the phone for us. Mr. Thomas can give us everything that he has, but he cannot do the work for us. When I was training people, I could tell you exactly what to do, exactly where to put your hands in a push-up, how to squat, do all of that. But what's the one thing that I couldn't do? I couldn't do it for you. I couldn't do it for you. There were people that gave up because they were not willing to learn the skills. They were not willing to do the work. And then there were other people that started out one way and completely transformed their body. And what's the difference? 6 inches right here. This is the difference. This can make or break anything in your life. Anything. So do you have that ambition? What's your attitude like? What's your attitude like? Do you have an attitude of gratitude, or are you kind of like, I don't know. Do you kind of just like fly through life? Do you kind of just go with the flow? What's your attitude like? Do you have that urgency? Is that person that you love gonna get to see you get promoted to whatever position you want? Are they gonna get to see you be the person that you want to become? The M, mentality. Mentality. He chose a Mamba as a joke in the beginning, and it caught on and became this huge thing. Pick an animal if you need to. Pick an animal. I have a lion. I love lions. Okay, I have a lion. James Adlam has a lion. Pick an animal. If you have to, pick one. What are the traits of that animal that you like? Why are you picking that animal? If you need an alter ego, do it. If you need to call yourself Superman, do it. When you pick up that phone, that person that's dialing the phone is going to be unstoppable. You know why you're crossing the plank. You know what's on the other side. Are you going to let anything stop you? No, that's exactly how we need to be when we're talking to people. It is game time. Like, this is game time. We've been training all these months, and now guess what? It's time. It's time. Network marketing had the most growth in this 1 year than the whole history of network marketing. But how much of it went into our pockets? We got work to do. Okay? Mentality. That's where it starts. Mentality. Now look, the B is for belief. Okay? Belief. Belief that you can do it. Belief in yourself. Not thinking about what anybody else is going to say, not thinking who else believes in you or not. Be your own cheerleader, but then at the same time, be your biggest critic and your biggest competition too. Tell yourself you can do it. Before every call, I give myself a pep talk. Mr. Bree Clemens knows this. He was there for one of them. He was laughing at me. I'm like, I don't care if you laugh. Look, I gotta get myself ready. Okay. I know what Mr. Thomas does to get ready for a call. What do you need to do? Is there a song you need to listen to? What do you need to do before you go into a phone call? I started playing music, like hype music, before I pick up the phone or I do anything. Why? Energy is transferable. If you don't sound like you believe it in your voice, is anybody else going to believe you when you call them? No. They can feel it through text messages too. If you're just like, hi, I have an opportunity for you. No, I ain't going to talk to you. You wouldn't even talk to you. You wouldn't even talk to that person. So you have to have that belief. Look, we have so many examples around us of what can happen in this business, what can happen in this industry. Look at Mr. Al Thomas. Look at any of the other RVPs or SVPs. But we're so busy looking at the oak tree that we don't understand that within every oak seed sleeps the oak tree. You might think that you're not making progress. You might think that you're not getting better. You might think that you're the seed. But within every seed sleeps the oak tree. All it needs is fertilizer, water, and sunshine. That's it. That's all we need. Practice, personal development, and our events. That's all we need. And you will grow. You can grow into that oak tree, but you have to believe in yourself. An oak tree doesn't compete with an apple tree because it knows it's an oak tree. A lemon tree doesn't compete with the apple tree because it knows it's a lemon tree. It's never going to be an apple. The apple tree is never going to be an oak tree. The seed knows who he or she is. You got to know. You guys are all so amazing. Like personally, when I talk to people and I hear their stories, I can't believe it. I can't believe that we have such hidden gems in our business. But you got to believe in yourself. There's other people out there that only you can reach, that nobody else can reach. Other people that need to hear your story and nobody else's story. But if you're not out there telling your story, or if you don't believe in yourself, other people's lives are never going to be changed. Imagine if Mr. Thomas would have stopped, this call would not exist. Your life would be totally different. So would mine. The last A is for appreciation. You have to appreciate what you have and what you're going to have as if you already have it. Are you thankful? How thankful are you? How thankful are you for what you're going to have? What you already have. Just take a second. Everybody is breathing. That's something to be thankful for. Now, the last thing I'm going to do, if you're driving, please do not close your eyes, okay? But if you're not driving, close your eyes. This is the last thing, and then I'm out. And I kind of went over today, kind of, did the thing today. All right, close your eyes. Mr. Thomas, I see you peeking. Close your eyes. All right. I want everybody to think about who you want to become. So think about in the future, maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, who's the person that you see yourself becoming? When you see yourself getting promoted to RVP or SVP, you're walking the stage. Who is that person? What is that person wearing? How does that person speak? How does that person walk? How do you talk to other people? How do you love other people? How passionate are you about what you do? How many people stand up and clap for you and start crying and say, you changed my life? Who is that person? Now open your eyes. Every single decision you make from today on out, I want you to think, am I getting closer to becoming that person or not? Everything you do, trust me, it will change you. When you're about to go turn on the TV, instead of calling some more people, ask yourself, is this getting me closer or further away from who I need to be? How can I become that person? Every single decision. Because look, you're already in the game. You're either sitting on the bench or you're in the game playing. And if you're in the game playing, you're playing to win. You're not playing to lose. Nobody goes into the game playing to lose. You're in there to win. We have the Game On event on March 20th. We have 20 days until that convention. My question is, are you going to play the game and are you going to win the game because it's game on? Mr. Thomas, that's all I got. I'm going to pass it back over to you. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys.